All right, let's do it, man. Round one. This is great. I do not know any of the lines. I have avoided any website. I haven't even looked at Twitter replies. I've avoided anything that would tell me what these lines are.
All right. Good for you. I did well on 2 of the 4 lines, and I think you could nail me on the other 2. And
okay.
Cincinnati at Houston, Saturday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern.
Yeah, this is once again the terrible early Saturday game. The tradition continues, right?
Yeah. Well, NBC
always
gets
a
first
terrible
and
game.
last choice, so that's how it is. So
it's always a terrible game.
Yeah.
They can never figure out.
This is a terrible. Bill, if they're playing this game in my backyard, I draw the blinds. I don't watch this game, Bill.
I thought Lawrence Taylor made some pretty insightful points during his bizarre Inside the NFL appearance.
That was great. That was my favorite Inside the NFL in years, I think. But you're right. The contrast between the first segment and the last segment.
Yeah.
First segment when he's barely apologizing for the underage prostitute.
Nah, it's defiant.
And then, the best part is Collinsworth's like, what makes you think you're a changed man? He's like, did I say I was a changed man? You're going to read about me in 3 months. What are you talking about? And then
Collinsworth, he was trying to put words in his mouth, I'm sure you've been apologizing to your wife every day. And Taylor's you can see his brain going, actually, I don't think I've apologized yet. Maybe I should do that. That's not a bad idea. It was horrible. It was really, it was one of the most disturbing things I've ever witnessed. And then Taylor ended up making some lucid football points, including the fact that he thought the Giants, the front four, played defense just like the teams that he played with in the 80s and 90s. And for him to say that, because the old guys never want to give the new guys credit ever. Mm-hmm. And for him to praise the front four of the Giants like that, I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah. He also said he's watched about 8 minutes of football because he golfs about 23 and a half hours a day. So.
Right. I forgot about that part.
Been a tough year. I lost my boyfriends Josh Sweetney's Pudding Pop Freeman and Tim Twinkle Toes Tebow, and now my Pats let me down. I'm thinking of ending it all, but why would I? I got a great wife, great kids, beautiful house, my laptop computer. I eat Subway $5 foot-long sweet onion chicken teriyaki 6 times a week. I could probably name 15 silver linings if I had to. I'm not going anywhere. I'm climbing down from this roof. Oh, no. Wait a minute. What's this? Hold on. What?
Jetpack flying squirrel suit.
Oh, no. Here comes Jay Leno in a jetpack. He's trying to be funny. There's only so much a man could take. Screw this. I'm jumping. Rubio, Don, clam chowder number 1.
But I know you've got a very important game tonight.
Huge game. The Rising Stars BBVA Rising Stars Challenge.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Interesting. I remember when I was a kid watching that.
Yeah, it goes way back.
I don't know what's left for them to use with Bobby V. Maybe some financial improprieties or something. Shady expense reports, that type of thing.
Hitting on a clubhouse attendant.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we just had an awesome watching on the iPad. Just third baseman going in for a pop fly in Tampa and just knocked beers all over 2 drunk guys. So it was good.
And those beers were probably about $15 each too. You hate to see that.
Yeah. Did you have a reaction to the Jacoby Ellsbury? Probably out for 8 weeks, but once the Red Sox medical staff gets involved, it could be another 8 years.
Well, I mean, of all guys to have it happen to after his rib thing a couple of years ago, my first reaction was, obviously you hate to see a guy get hurt, but I knew Red Sox fans would be secretly pleased because it now gives them an excuse when they come in 4th place. They'll be able to whine and say, well, if only we had Ellsbury for those 3 months. And, I mean, he had the whole thing with the ribs where the Red Sox, the medical staff were like, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just a bruise. It's okay. Meanwhile, he had 5 broken ribs and a collapsed lung or whatever, So I'm
kidney damage.
If I'm Jacoby Ellsbury, I'm getting a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th opinion probably on my shoulder.
I wouldn't let the Red Sox medical staff diagnose a fever for one of my children.
A splinter.
I wouldn't let them look at a lump on my dog's back. I at least won that battle. So conditioned her to just really despise the Lakers to the point of it's actually kind of comical. She knows not to root for any of the New York teams. She knows that she has to root for the Red Sox, Patriots, and Celtics in some form. But the Kings, you just kind of pushed out the Bruins. I couldn't stop it.
Once the kid meets the mascot for the team, it's over. You're not bringing
the
her
other
back
thing
from
is,
that.
she had a favorite player initially. It was like, I wrote about it, but it was the whole kid thing where they find out who the best player is, and that becomes the kids are front runners.
Yeah.
Kids just jump. It's the same reason you're a Yankee fan. Kids just gravitate toward whoever is doing well, and they want to be attached to it. So Kopitar was the best king. She's in on Kopitar. By the way, he got jumped last night in a fight. She's very upset. This guy Burroughs on Vancouver was mad that somebody had cheap shotted one of the Sedin sisters, and jumped Kopitar, who had never been in a fight in his life. My daughter was just furious about it. But here's the thing: you can't tell your kids really what to do other than what not to do.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
My thing is, I told my daughter, no Lakers, no New York teams.
Well, as long as she heeds to that, I guess that's okay then.
Yeah.
And the Kings are up 3-0 now, right?
It's pretty amazing. With an inferior team. It's classic to have a better goalie.
At least Vancouver can get the rioting out of the way early this year, so maybe it's still too cold to riot up there now, so maybe it's a good thing.
That was one of Westbrook's best games, just by not shooting. By kind of knowing his role and understanding what was actually happening. I think a year ago, Durant makes 3 or 4 in a row, and then Westbrook comes down and shoots a 3 with 18 seconds left in the shot clock. He didn't do that game, which I thought was really important.
That's still an open question, right? That remains to be seen whether or not that's a lesson learned, whether that was a teachable moment.
Well, here's what Scotty Brooks has to say to him. This isn't a case of this becoming Kevin's team. He's got to do that whole thing. We still need you and Kevin. But in this series, they don't have anyone who could guard Kevin.
Was that your Scotty Brooks voice?
Nah, it really wasn't.
I mean, was that the porn Scotty Brooks voice?
It was porn Scotty Brooks. And, San Antonio was there, and then the combo of what happened with Ibaka and Perkins, and then Durant just goes off in the end.
Yeah.
2 things that you're not going to see every playoff game, which makes me think I would not be surprised if San Antonio wins this series at 6. I still think they're better.
Yeah, I kind of think they're better too. They're a better team.
Wait, one thing we can say, I'm proud of Scotty Brooks for making some adjustments finally.
Absolutely. Push some good buttons.
Now he's got to get rid of that guy with the IE ending who has the Twitter account. He's got to eliminate that guy.
That's the last button to push.
Yeah. You can't have that kind of confusion. People are Googling you.
I
think you should invite him to a game and have him sit courtside. Oklahoma City needs more celebrities.
That guy is not a celebrity, and I wouldn't want him within 50 miles of me under any circumstances.
8 assists and 9 rebounds or whatever his numbers are. I just think I don't think he should be the scapegoat for what's happening here. If anything, I think the scapegoat should be the mentality that you can win with 3 guys and that a supporting cast doesn't matter. And this is something we argued about on your radio show for 2 solid years. Have you changed your opinion on that? I mean, you see the value of an 8-man team now, right?
Well, no, this is where I have changed my opinion, and it has been changed by a representative 2-year sample size on this Heat team that has forced me, because this team is not as good as I thought it was, or I expected it to be, and this has all been a lot harder than I thought it was. I don't think it's 8 players. I think your 3 players have to fit better than this. That Boston won the championship the first year with 3 lesser talent in Ray Allen, Garnett, and Paul Pierce, and won it their first year. Had to labor to do it through the playoffs, but won 66 games that first year, the second most in that franchise's history, and came out of the box without needing to congeal because the pieces fit. And I think that these guys the talent here is so overwhelming that you can overcome, and they did last year, overcome pieces fitting better in Boston and in Chicago. But sometimes in a 7-game series, the talent isn't going to be able to do that to the team. And so it's not unsimilar to the concern I have with Oklahoma City. Those pieces don't fit perfectly either. You'll file that under supporting cast. Here, you've got 2 guys who do the identical thing, and that wasn't the case with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. So I've had to lend more credence to the idea that it can't just be talent. You can overcome a team just with overwhelming talent. They were 2 games from doing that last year, but that's where I think I've had to change my mind.
Can I say something?
Yes.
That's what I was telling you 2 summers ago!
You were telling me that Eddie House was important.
He was!
That the 8th guy is important.
It is!
Oh, come on.
Who hit the biggest shot of yesterday's game? Michael Petrus.
Yes, Michael Petrus did, but who usually hits the big shot? What you're talking about? James Harden hitting the shot at the end, or Paul Pierce hitting the shot at the end?
But the Oklahoma City won Game 4 because Ibaka and Perkins went 18 for 20, and San Antonio played really well in that game, and Ibaka and Perkins kept them in it, and then Durant just did his thing at the end.
I asked fans the other day here if they were having fun, and the answer was no. The answer was no, because it's not fun to lose. So, yes, I would say it's great fun. The whole thing.
I could see that part. I'm just in general as sports fans, this is great theater. Like, this is why we do this, I feel like. This is why we do, you churn out crappy columns in February and you grind your way through some TV show where you don't even have one interesting topic in March. And this is, it's for weeks like this, this is freaking theater. It's great. Anyway, thanks for coming on. Good luck on your local radio show. Say hi to Stu Gatz for me.
I can't bring myself to root for the Heat, and partly it's because of the decision and the way they all came together and all that.
Yeah.
Were put together and all that. Pat Riley is involved. I don't care for Pat Riley, but also I mentioned this during the NBA All-Star game about this trend, and maybe it's in all sports because I think football guys do it too, but basketball, these guys where they wear like these Clark Kent glasses, which I don't understand in the slightest, like why you want to look like Urkel.
Yeah.
But then even more ridiculously, when the Heat lost what at the time seemed to be a pivotal Game 5, Wade is in the locker room after the game and he puts on the Clark Kent glasses. They don't even have glass in them.
Yeah.
I just don't understand as like an adult why I would wear like glasses that have no lenses, lensless glasses. Like, why would I put those on like it's Halloween?
Isn't the goal of all the fashion in the NBA playoffs to get people to talk about the NBA fashion in the NBA playoffs?
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Can you at least put, I'm going to go full Mad Dog here. Can you at least put glass in there? Can it just
Doug,
be clear glass?
Doug, they had no glasses in those lenses.
I mean, that just seems to be so asinine.
Doug, why would you get glasses? They don't have lenses. I don't get it.
If I had some like heartbreaking career thing where things didn't go well in my career, and then I like left work and I was wearing a wig for no apparent reason, I don't understand why that would make any sense. You lose Game 5, you're the Heat, you're going to win 5 or 6 championships allegedly, according to the press conference. I just lost a heartbreaking Game 5. Let me put on my lensless Clark Kent glasses. It'll make me feel better as an adult.
The other thing that was really interesting was Wade talked about how he had a stylist.
God.
For the press conferences. He has somebody that, I forget, they were talking about in one of the games. So the stylist sends all of Dwayne's outfits for, that series. So he's like, here are the 6 things you're going to wear during the press conferences, Dwayne. Jesus. And Dwayne says, thank you, stylist.
Oh my God.
And in Game 4, I have you in a nice little Azad get-up. Oh, that sounds great, stylist.
I'd like to be put on retainer by some NBA player. I'll offer my services, and I will give him advice like, make sure your fake glasses have fake lenses in them.
Yeah. So for Game 5, we're going to take out the lenses, Dwayne. I just feel I like the momentum of the no lenses for the last 2 games.
Here's my advice. A lot of guys go with the glasses, but how about if you go with the full Groucho glasses with the nose and mustache? Really mix it up a little bit. What should you put those on after the game?
How could somebody get to the point in their life when they're a man and they have a stylist?
Well, that's a good question, too. And LeBron has, like, his little, like, pocketbook that he carries to games. That's troubling.
If James Harden's beard wasn't real.
Wow.
And it came off during a game, would that be the greatest moment in the history of YouTube?
It would be up there.
Bradley thing worries me because he had one shoulder operated on, then the other one. Which
I don't think people realize. What was the timing for that?
So right after the season, he got one shoulder operated on. They had to wait basically like a month and a half or something to get the other one operated on because you can't have your arms in both slings, right? You need to be able to move. You can't. That's my expert opinion. So
then Dallas, at Chicago, at Washington, Denver. It just seems like there are no easy games for them in there.
Let's go through Tampa's schedule. Do you want to be Mike or Dog?
I will be the dog.
Okay. All right, Dog. Tampa, week 1, Carolina.
Carolina, that is a win. No, that is a tie, Mike. Let us put that down for a tie. They start off 0-1. He does not want to be exposed. He went to the Jets. He's going to cause a lot of trouble there. He's going to run with his shirt off in the rain. He's going to pray only when the cameras are on him. This guy knows exactly what he's doing every step of the way. And now I hate him.
You hate him again?
Not just the hype, him now.
You hate him again?
I really do. I'm sorry.
What would you rather have for Tebow to bring down the whole Tebow thing? Would you rather have a leaked sex tape?
Oh.
Or a testosterone type suspension?
Interesting.
Like a 4-game. Which route would you rather have there?
I would go for a sex tape, but can I add? Is it too much bang for my buck if I ask for it
with a man?
Anderson Cooper.
Okay.
Could that happen? Don't count it out.
A gay sex tape. Wow.
Sure.
You're going to the whole. That would make headlines.
So what's the best early game?
The best to watch?
Yeah.
Cincy at Washington?
That's a lousy early slate.
I think that's it.
Boo on the NFL for that early slate.
That is a bad job, Roger Goodell.
You got to put one game there, Mikey.
Confident in the Seahawks. You gave me a call. You must have ducked into the bathroom to call, even though we were watching the game together. But you did drunk dial me again. You and your Bloody Marys.
I did have Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the call and bring it up.
Cousin Sal, it's the sports guy here. I am so sorry about your Cowboys and my Patriots. Their performances this weekend were nothing short of abysmal, I can't get that word out, but you know what I'm saying. They sucked worse than the 4th episode of Road Rules Real World Challenge Season 3. Yep, that bad. But the one good thing that came out of this is the emergence of my boyfriend Russell, hustle and bustle, mounds of man, muscle Wilson. My love for him has never been stronger than David Ortiz after he shoots up 3rd round of HGH straight in his buttocks. Stronger than Amanda Bynes' pre-Sunday morning drive martini. Stronger than the smell that emanates from Tony Saragusa's pregame trailer after he defecates an evening's worth of hot peppers and scugili. I want Russell to know I'll never doubt him again, even after next Monday night when he lights a stink bomb and loses 49-7 to the Packers. Russell, I think it's time for you to know I'm at a payphone trying to call home all of my change I spent on you. Maroon 5, 2012, my favorite poet. And I just want everyone to know, when I marry Russ, I'll be taking his name. I'll forever be known as Bill Russell Wilson. Bill Russell Wilson. That's definitely got a ring to it. Bill Russell, over and out. There you go.
I don't even remember doing that.
You did that. You're taking his name?
If Mitt Romney is serious about winning the presidential election, he should just cover the difference to get the real NFL referees back.
Oh, that's really good.
Now think about that for a second. Mitt Romney just interjects himself in this whole thing and says, I have the $50 million right here.
Wow.
I'll pay out of my own pocket because I can't live in a world where football is screwed up every week.
Yeah. And
that could swing the election.
He could probably write it off on a tax return that he doesn't.
Totally. Well, or he could use his campaign funds.
Yeah.
Those go to commercials. He could just say, yeah, we're going to use $50 million of this to save football.
I like that.
You imagine if you're Obama, Romney doesn't have a lot of moves left at this point. You're terrified of that move.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. That's pretty good. And buy everyone a new iPhone 5.
And then on the flip side, Obama's missing a golden opportunity to flex his presidential muscles here.
With what?
Just be like, hey, I don't know when his next press conference is or whatever, but do the thing where, I'm disgusted by these games. I can't believe what's happening. Yeah. I need to get on the phone with Roger Goodell and try to figure this out. This is an embarrassment. Michael Oher just annihilated Jones on a hold.
Yeah.
Hog-tied him and then threw him down right as he was about to sack Flacco. No call. Then they show the replay, and Collinsworth and Michaels don't know what to say as usual because They didn't want to kill the refs for 4 straight hours. I got to get Al Michaels on the podcast.
Get him up there.
I feel like he'll be a little more candid in the podcast studio.
You have 2 days before they settle the strike or the lockout before to get Al Michaels.
I don't know. Do you really think they're going to settle this?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
I don't feel like they settle it until somebody gets seriously hurt.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to lose fans over it, but it's the public outcry, and for no reason to keep this going.
I don't understand why the players aren't more upset about it and why they haven't threatened to sit out a quarter or something.
Yeah.
Like or just not, boycott the next Sunday or do whatever they need to do. Like, ultimately, they're in control of this.
Yeah. I think the Patriots did say that. They sat out the fourth quarter yesterday.
Ah, that's too soon. I was glad that he seemed calm, and his hair looked great.
Hair looked really good.
Hair looked really good.
In the beginning bit, Lena Dunham was great, and you had her on in the summer, right?
Yeah.
I remember. I took a piece of that podcast. Let me just.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Welcome to the BS report. Partly cloudy Thursday. Not exactly sure why I ever mentioned the weather, since it's always the same here and depresses the out of everyone else. But with us this week, the incandescent star writer, director, actress from the hit series Girls, Lena Dunham. Lena, thank you for coming on the BS report.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor.
Yeah, but Lena, yours is my favorite TV show on television. Forget about The Wire, Sopranos, Real World, Real Rules, Challenge 313. They could all suck an egg when compared to Girls.
Thank you.
And when you and your other barely post-pubescent friends get naked and eat German chocolate cake on the beach, I feel like a teenager all over again.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know, if I already didn't have a man crush on Russell Hustle and Bustle Man Muscle Wilson, you would be my gal.
Thank you.
And one more thing. What is the one thing you'd say to me right now if I promise to stop hitting on you like an awkward, pimply-faced 13-year-old?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll stop now.
Thank you.
That was nice. Yeah, I don't know if people listen to you over the summer.
That was good, man. If you put Russell Wilson and Lena Dunham in the same room, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
You'd have to make a big decision.
If they had a kid, I would kidnap it. We made a bet before the year. The Red Sox had to finish within, I forget, 10 games. However many it wasn't nearly close enough.
23, yeah.
And now, this winter, I have to display something in my living room of your choosing.
Yes.
Which is, we've been getting a lot of emails about this. I mentioned it in your mailbag. I mean, you can really pick anything, as long as it's not 100% pornographic.
No, of course not. You have young children. I wouldn't do that.
Well, if the roles were reversed, I would consider doing it. I was thinking, if it was you, I think I would have done a framed poster of Al Pacino's Cruising.
Nice.
I think that would have really confused anyone who came into your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're making some sort of statement.
Yeah. My wife's extended family comes over. Hey, I love the house. What's with that poster in the living room?
I looked up Cruising. It was a controversial movie about a gay S&M murder in 1980 that caused a lot of protests. Why is that in your house?
Well, it would look good next to my Scarface poster I have in my living room.
Oh, our Lynx Texans parlay. One of the best ever.
It's the Lynx Jinx. That's what we're calling it. Don't take the Texans tonight. You actually called me, and I saved the message. This is the cockamamie bet you put together. Here's how it went.
Cousin Sal, sports guy here. I just had an epiphan, I can't even say that word. Anyway, it just occurred to me that the Minnesota Lynx are the best WNBA team I've ever seen. It's true. In all 3.5 WNBA games I've watched in my life, I believe this to be the case. Candace Wiggins, Rebecca Brunson, Taj McWilliams-Franklin, what a great group of lasses. I'm even thinking about going as a Lynx for Halloween, except I have no idea what one is. So let's parlay the Lynx to advance against the Sparks with the Texans' money line. And when we win, we'll happily live ever after, sipping Mai Tais on the island of Dr. Moreau. Sports guy, over and out, Con.
There you go.
You know, the Fever are giving 4 to the Sun tonight.
What is that? We have to be done with this. Come on.
I think we might have to look at the Sun +4.
The Sun? It's not even the Suns?
No, it's the Sun. It's the Connecticut Sun.
The Connecticut Sun. They have their own Sun. Oh,
I might do this next year. I've been thinking about it.
What?
Totally throw myself in the WNBA. Like, really watch it. How many people have thrown themselves in WNBA? From a gambling standpoint, it could be a huge advantage. I know basketball really well.
Not many people throw themselves in Mount Vesuvius either. But yeah, there's a reason.
I've been too low over and over and again with these high lines. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen anymore. I went Falcons 12.5.
Oh, wow. You're not kidding. Out of spite. I said 8.5, and it's 9.
Really?
Yeah, you might be back in the 3-team teaser business.
Oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The Raiders can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
You can throw in them until the cows come home.
Off week.
Is that how you use the cows coming home? You haven't heard that one in a while.
No, they're coming home.
Yeah, the cows are coming home. There's like a 1% chance Scott Fujita is listening to this podcast. Actually, it's probably lower than that. It's probably like 0.001% chance.
Watch what you say. He's a tough guy.
I love how he went after Goodell.
Yeah.
I just loved it. He's my hero.
You like him, right?
I just loved it. I love that he called him out for what a hypocrite he is.
It is nice to point out that
He's a giant hypocrite. Mm-hmm. He's a giant hypocrite. Yep. And I've written about it a bunch of times, so I don't want to repeat it. But, even think about how dumb an 18-game schedule is, and that Goodell didn't just squash that coming out of the gate with all the health problems his players are having. And you watch every week these guys are going down left and right, and these concussions and all this stuff, and they haven't taken that off the table yet. I think he's the biggest hypocrite in the planet.
Oh yeah, and then the whole referee thing, which all leads into the injury problem and everything.
Like Bettman is just incompetent. Bettman's just bad at his job.
Mm-hmm.
Goodell is worse. I actually feel like Goodell has qualities that aren't just incompetent. Like there's something, almost seems like something might be wrong with him.
And what if he's
that he doesn't see what a hypocrite he is?
That would be great. Yeah, he's got self-awareness issues.
He's like out of a 70s political movie or something. He's like a parody of an evil commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, Scott Fajita, keep up the good fight.
I like it.
The fact that they did Thursday night games all season and grabbed that money.
I think he did, didn't he say that?
Did he? Well, if he did, then I forgot. But
yeah.
Just like that, they did that money grab, and then you watch the Steelers guys going down left and right because they played 2 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
Man, he's such a hypocrite. I think he should resign.
You should fight him.
I don't know what I would do if I met him. Like, I think I'd have trouble being civil to him.
Oh, I just have to be there when it happens.
I'm gonna have to be introduced to him, so it could be totally awkward. I could be like, hey, look, I don't think you're doing a good job.
My fear with Griffin is just, and I know people have talked about this, but just that hit he took and just how little he is,
He's not that little, but he definitely, with all that running around, puts himself in harm's way. He's bigger than Vic.
He's not big, though.
He's not big. I agree.
Like Roethlisberger.
He's not like
like
Cam. He's not like Cam Newton.
We're right. Yeah, Roethlisberger and Cam. We were listening to Cowher today talking about how stupid it is that Cam and Griffin get compared all the time, and it's really just because they're both black. There's no stylistic.
No. It's not just because they're black. They both have a running ability to go along with their tremendous throwing ability.
So does Christian Ponder. So does a lot of people.
So I mean that's not inappropriate.
Well, I think Cam, the doppelganger for Cam, is Roethlisberger.
Those are 2 good games.
This couldn't be the Julio Jones just annihilating Asamoah game.
It could be, but
I think there's a lot of blank games that could be in play with that game.
What about Vic against his old team? We haven't even.
What?
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, he must.
I stand by what I wrote on Friday. I think if he was an NBA player, he'd be in China in 15 months.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's on his way out of the league.
Why? Because they eat dogs in the Asian countries?
Too soon.
I don't know if that's what you're getting at.
Well, they were saying the reports are really interesting, like that 800-page report. And one of the things was how the U.S. apparently got that Armstrong's team got its just asses kicked in 1995 in some race. And after that was when everybody was like, all right, we got to start doing what everybody else is doing. And from that point on, they just it became this machine. I mean, that was the legacy of that team. It was the greatest drug cheat unit anyone's ever assembled. They did it for a decade.
Well, they'll always have that, at least. That's right.
They're gonna have to
take
send
away
the
my
Tour de
title,
France's.
but you can't take away my title as greatest drug cheat of all time. Nobody made a masking agent like we did. We still got that, boys.
It's interesting. Does that help them?
It helps them in the fact that they already suck defensively, but it makes them better offensively.
I don't know. Chris Humphries.
It's a bigger name.
Chris Humphries bangs boards.
He does.
I
was scared for like 1 millisecond there. When you said bangs, I got really frightened. Watching Nash and Gasol, and like there was a couple high-low plays where Nash to Gasol, and then the quick pass to Howard for the dunk, and you're watching and you're going, oh my God, if they ever harness this, good Lord.
And if there's a human being on the planet capable of harnessing it, Steve Nash.
Nash and Gasol together are going to be incredible to watch. And just as a basketball fan, I hate the Lakers so much. I can't even, blood pours out of my eyes. But I love watching Gasol and I love watching Nash, and I think it's going to be awesome to watch those guys. And I can't wait to watch Kobe totally submarine it.
And you can check that out on the Grantland Network. We took Joe House to a diner in California, and he ate an ungodly amount of food. Cousin Sal, you witnessed the video last night. What were your thoughts?
I did. I was both disgusted and very, very jealous at the same time. It's a weird emotion, but it really it looked like it had been shot over 3 days. The amount he consumed.
You went head to head with House once in a battle on the first day of March Madness a couple years ago when we just got an ungodly amount of Chick-fil-A. And it was really one of the great competitions I've ever seen. I saw Bird and Dominique in 1988. I mean, I've seen a lot of good head-to-head battles. This was phenomenal. And you really went toe-to-toe. We kind of agreed there was a tie, and then you stopped eating, and then House just kept going.
Well, after I left, apparently House kept eating. I don't know. You know, and then we could never set up the rematch.
You left. You left, so basically House's point was it was a 12-round fight, and you left after 10 rounds, and then he finished you off in the last 2. You weren't even there.
See, I feel like I knocked him out, and then I left the ring, and he kept fighting his trainers or something. I don't know what happened there, but
yeah.
I'll do it again. Although I'm a little nervous after viewing what I did last night.
We might have to go head to head, and we have 2 episodes of House Eats in the can, so it might be the only 2 because he's going to die of heart disease soon.
Arizona, or was that the weekend?
I have no idea what to make of this Patriots team anymore.
Yeah,
you're asking the wrong guy.
All right.
I was excited that we got this Talib from Tampa, who's now immediately our best cornerback. He served a suspension for Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
How does Adderall help you if you're a football player?
I don't know. It helps you get traded to the Patriots.
Prop 82 or something.
Yeah, it's more important than the porn stars wearing condoms or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on our ballot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt a little weird handing that to my 105-year-old ballot taker right afterwards. But
I voted no. They shouldn't. They shouldn't have to. I just was so appalled that was on my ballot that I just went with the no.
Yeah,
just
I
as
didn't
a
care,
protest.
and I thought of our friend Corolla, who hates seeing that stuff. So I was like, all right.
You voted no for Corolla.
Exactly.
I really needed another receiver, and I don't know. I just thought, like, what the hell? Why not go for it? But then there's this other factor. The guy who finishes in last place in our league has to pay for the entire pizza dinner.
Right.
After the season, which is like, it's like a $250?
Oh yeah, and we go with a lot of a-holes. I mean, they're going to the bathroom and pouring pitchers of beer in the toilet. So the guy.
Yeah. It's like a $300 thing. I don't want to finish last. I had like a 1-game lead in last place, so I was like, well, this might end up helping me win.
Right.
2 extra weeks. But that.
I thought 66 or 65, or it has to be an even number, but I thought last year's length was good. The compression was obviously bad, and if you wanted to spread, the 66 or 60 games over the current stretch of the season, I think that would work. I do think there is value in scarcity and having fewer games and having them all mean a little bit more. And I think all the creative thinkers in the NBA are really excited for Adam Silver to take over, because Adam Silver is a creative thinker and is like open to at least talking about a lot of this stuff, and the whole, well, we've always done it that way, it doesn't really fly with him. So there's a lot of excitement that over the next, and it's going to be a while, he has to settle into the job and all that, but over the next 10 or 15 years, that there'll be talk about that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I actually think it might be sooner than that. You know, for me, I've written about this. The ideal length for me is 72 games, and then have some sort of mid-season something to break it up, create some sort of tournament or whatever you need to do to break up the season, but also have some value toward the middle of the season. If you were just talking conventionally how many games, like no other tweaks or anything, 75 seems totally fair to me. You lose 7 games, and in every case it would be the 4 games and 5 nights game, which, you know, now you have less injuries. To me, it's like just see the forest through the trees here, NBA. Like, if you're going to make these guys play 82 games and play these ridiculous 4 and 5 nights things, those guys are going to get hurt. And then if your whole worry is, oh, we're going to lose games, or like even what happened with the Spurs, like those fans came to see Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and they didn't get to see them. Well, that's what's also going to happen when those guys get hurt, you know, and their job should be to protect the players and get the best possible physical performance from these guys, and that's the part that they don't give a crap about, and that's why I think they're hypocritical.
There are only 2 arguments against a shorter schedule, really. Number one is money, and the fear that the league can't make as much money from ticket sales or whatever. And no one knows if that's true or not. Maybe the TV deal becomes much more lucrative than it is now. If every game attracts more ratings or whatever. And the other is, we've always had 82 games. What about all the records and statistics? Like, Kobe's about to pass 30,000 points, and like no one cares. You see stories about it, but like, who has 30,000 points? I don't know. Kobe does, I guess, now soon. No one cares.
The only record that people might care about is the 72 wins for Chicago. In terms of individual records, nobody cares. I mean, the things that people would care about are per game averages, which wouldn't change anyway if you went to 75 games. I think the league, I was embarrassed by how Stern handled that whole thing, and it goes back to the whole, the narrative of just the guy who should have left 2 years early and instead hung on for 3 years too late. My read of that situation was he got mad that Popovich did what he did. He felt like Popovich was deliberately waving a middle finger at him, which I think he was, and I think the timing of how they announced it, not giving anybody a heads up, I just think it made Stern mad, and he released that statement when really nobody was mad about this. There was no outrage on social media that the Spurs had decided to rest guys. I think basketball fans are pretty smart, and they had Memphis on Saturday night, and I was fine with it. It was like, yeah, why would you play those guys in a 4-game 5-night if you could rest them? It's a marathon, not a sprint. But I thought he just pigeonholed himself into, once he gave that statement, then he had to do something, and then it became a bigger deal than it was.
That's why it would have been so much fun had they won.
Oh, God forbid they won that game. Ugh. And, I also think from what I heard, Popovich was really upset about last year's schedule and 66 games in that short amount of time, and what a detriment that was to an older team. And even if it didn't affect the Spurs that much, they still had a good season, but you could argue when Oklahoma City ran them off the floor in those last 4 games, could that have been because they were playing a playoff game every other night and they just kind of petered out? I do think that was a deliberate FU by him to Stern, though. No question. He's like, I have 4 titles, F you. Do something. Fine us. I don't care. I'm making a point. The schedule's ridiculous. And that's why he did it.
We all know Stern's temper is legendary, and I would agree with you that Pop deliberately tweaked him and got the response that he was anticipating.
Right. And now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens the next time they hit a schedule point where he might think that maybe he should do this, and now do you just fake injuries? Because we know that you could say any player on your team has tendinitis at any point. Anybody over 30, you say, yeah, he's got tendinitis. So tendinitis will become the new excuse. Then how does the league even govern that? Somebody smart said to me, the problem with what Stern did is he's enforcing a rule that you can't enforce, because now anybody can say anything. And now you're just basically saying to teams, just lie. Don't tell the truth, just lie. And that's what's going to happen from now on. And I think Popovich, the next time around, will have fake excuses for injuries, but he's going to do it again. But yeah, I think the overall theme here is that it's time for a new commissioner, and I really wish that that February 2014, I wish it was February 2013 when the change was going to happen. I think it's going to be rocky these last 15 months. Mike Piazza.
Well, that's an interesting one because, he's a guy who was like a, 800th round draft pick or whatever. It wasn't a highly regarded prospect, and then he turned into, the top hitting catcher of all time, arguably.
Late bloomer.
And I mean, that's a guy who there's an enormous amount of question marks about. So that's
never proven. No actual hardcore evidence.
No, but there's been a lot of stories about the back knee and everything else.
Yeah, we had friends who had back knee in college.
What's that? Yes.
I remember seeing some back zits in college. I never wanted to not vote them into the Hall of Fame.
All right, now Philly at the Giants. We know Vic's playing. We know McCoy's playing. We know it's Andy Reid's last game.
Do we know that, though?
No, we don't. I know it. I'm not supposed to say anything, but I do know it.
An emotional 2012 for you. You had the Nationals became a playoff team. You had your first gut punch baseball loss in a long, long time. The Wizards have turned into the new Clippers. The torch has been passed, right?
They are who we thought they were.
The torch has been passed. I said this on TV, and Wilbon thought I was crazy. It's like, well, who is the black sheep of the NBA now? The Clippers can no longer be considered the black sheep. The Warriors are a playoff team. Who is the black sheep? It's the Wizards. They have to be the Wizards.
Who else could it be? Nobody else is even in the running. Charlotte, I guess you could try and come up with an argument, but they made the playoffs 2 years ago.
You've won one playoff series in 30 years.
That makes us pretty black.
You had
as far as sheep go.